So today I'm going to show you about softwood cuttings, and we have in front of us a penstemon, and it is just coming into the first week of June. So first week of June you will be indicative, you'll find floppy top growth or softwood on the plant. You will also find some of the fronds have got flower on them. We need to avoid those for cutting material, because if we take those, the plant will spend too much time and energy producing the flower, and it will neglect the rootage that we are actually hoping for. So what we're doing when we're taking in softwood cuttings, we do it in the morning, and we use a plastic bag to prevent water loss. And what we're doing is we're going to leave the plant in a healthy condition. So I'm going to go down to a node. So where I've cut, I've not left a coat hanger on the plant. Okay, so the plant is left healthy, and I have produced a piece of material that size, which is effectively just a little bit bigger than the width of my hand, and that will then go into the bag. And very quickly I'll now take the cuttings material that I need to produce my propagation for the morning. So in the potting shed then, I've got my penstemon Firebird propagation material, some seed trays, and we use the RHS recommended peat-free compost, but it is very woody. It has quite an open structure, so I don't add grit to this. If you have got a tighter, finer compost, it might be a good idea to add grit to it, because cutting compost does need to be free draining. Anyway, I won't be doing, because ours is already free draining. I have slightly dampened this with a watering can just to make it so that it's got a little bit of moisture in it. And now I'm going to fill my seed tray up. Little explorers are just walking past again. We share our site with the nursery, and the little scallywags are often walking backwards and forwards. So what I've done is I've overfilled my seed tray, and then with a piece of wood, basically I'm going to strike my seed tray back towards the compost on the bench. This is keeping the bench as tidy as I possibly can. The RHS examiner will like that. I then, with a pressing board, just press it down so I've got a watering sill of about 5 or 6 mil, a watering sill, and a nice... Okay, my penstemon cuttings, as you remember, can you just home in on that please, Isaac? My penstemon cuttings will have a tail of internode, because we left the parent plant tidy, so I've got a tail of internode. Now I need my cuttings to be around about 4 inches, which I take to be in about the width of my hand. So I'm going to hold my hand against it and pick a node that's about 4 inches down the stem. So I'm going for that one there. And I'm going to cut, this time I'm going to cut just below the node, because the node is a growing point on the plant, and that's where all the meristems are, and that's where all the growth of the plant will be. And when I plunge that into the compost, it'll generate roots more readily from that point. I'm now very carefully removing some of the bottom leaves. You can do this with a scalpel or a craft knife if you want to. And basically what I want is, I want a propagule that has approximately 4 leaves on it and a stem that's in good condition. So I'm looking at something like that. If you put my hand against it, you can see it has 4 or 5 leaves, and it's approximately 4 inches with a node right at the base of the cutting there. Okay. In a seed tray then, once I've prepared 15 of those, I will be putting them in 3 rows of 5, which you can work out like by going 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, etc. Having prepared 15 propagals like this, very gingerly now holding the leaves and not the stem, I just plunge them halfway into the compost and firm them upright. And I will then produce, using the propagal material that we've gathered earlier, I will then produce 14 more dressed cuttings which I will plunge into the compost. Once you've produced your tray of 15 propagals, it should look something like that. Nice and even. The base of the leaves are not touching the compost, and the propagals, individual propagals, hopefully are not touching each other, which can cause problems with damping off and such like, and diseases. You then need to label what's on there. So on your label, starting at the top, you need to write down what it is. So these are penstemon, Firebird, and on the back we write the date that it was done and my name, so it's there. And that can then be put into the propagation greenhouse, and in about 4 weeks' time these propagals will have formed roots on the base of them and can be then potted up into larger pots.